Hello and welcome to This Is. We just got back from the Apple event.
What?
Wait.
Which event? Wait.
No, we didn't. We've been saying for years that this could have been an email.
They finally did it.
Apple finally listened.
So the iPhone 16e has just been announced, and boy, oh boy, does this revolutionize the iPhone. I'm gonna be real straight with you from the very beginning. I think I am usually a little bit more pro than negative when it comes to Apple.
What are you doing?
You hate everything. I generally like to defend Apple, not in all cases.
You're negative all the time. I'm the pro one.
I'm just saying, look, I usually like to come at it with a positive spin. Oh, it's pretty good for a lot of people. The iPhone 16e is one of the weirdest phones that they have ever released. I don't even know where to begin. Should we talk about the iPhone SE, which is really what this is replacing? Because I think that's the big story here.
That is, yeah. So there might be some confusion because I've seen that across the interwebs today of the SE line is gone.
If you're unfamiliar, the iPhone SE, they did 3 models over the years. It was a very affordable iPhone, $400. This was the only cheap new iPhone that you could buy. It used like the iPhone 8 design, so it still had like the home button and everything like that. And while it was not really a terrific device, I will freely give you that. It's still a tiny battery. It was a small phone, but the thing was, this was the only cheap new iPhone you could buy, and especially if you got on like a prepaid carrier, these things were dirt cheap. However, what this is now is a $600 replacement for the $430 phone. Is it better? Of course it is. But I think the biggest takeaway that I'm learning from this, if you want an affordable iPhone, go buy a used one, because they're not gonna sell it to you.
This is gonna be a weird day for us because I feel like I'm slightly more positive on it.
Okay, please tell me, because I saw this and I stewed in the car for a minute. I'm like, this is a stupid piece of shit. I've smelled a little bit on it. I still don't think I like it, but please tell me why you're so positive and why you love it.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I don't love it.
Okay, great. Tell me something.
I'm just slightly more positive on it because I think it is a good phone.
If it's a good phone, does it really take you that long to say the words good and phone together?
Like they've changed the naming structure to 16e.
Which is very much what, the Pixel does. There's the Pixel 9 and then there will be the 9A and yada. There's like a 6 month later budget version.
That is implying that they are going to be updating this yearly.
They should.
Or because it'd be weird for them to do like a 16e and then the next one is the 19e.
Do you think that because the 16e exists, they're going to start discontinuing phones a lot faster? So there will be like a 16e and then next year, when the new iPhone comes out, they'll get rid of the 15. It'll be 16e, 16e, 7. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even say the name.
Yeah,
it's so complicated.
Also, I feel like we need to do like soft reset naming because like you get up to the 20s and it's tough.
Bring back the S10e, you cowards. No, I figured it out. I was angry about it. I didn't know why. It's because it's the same damn size.
Yeah.
Give me a different size.
The reason I say is I think this is okay. And I'm saying okay. I'm not saying it's okay like as in I give it a pass. I'm saying it's okay as its baseline. It's a 16 chip.
It is a 6.1-inch display.
Which is the same as a 16.
It has a notch instead of the dynamic island.
Which a lot of people don't care about. In fact, a lot of people don't like the dynamic island.
I mean, I will say that the dynamic island is just better because it's way smaller. But whatever. It doesn't actually matter that much, right? It is essentially the same-ish size, same-ish screen as what you've gotten on the small iPhone for the last couple of years. A single camera, they call it a 2-in-1 camera, but it's really just a single 48 megapixel camera.
Which is the same as the 16.
But what you're not getting is the upgraded front-facing camera from the newer, more dynamic island-focused devices, which have a nicer autofocus camera. You're also not getting any kind of ultra-wide or telephoto, which feels weird to sell a phone with only one camera for $600. It's some weird things it's missing. It has wireless charging, but no MagSafe. What the hell? Why?
Yeah.
What?
So I'm sure that it has MagSafe magnets.
No, I 100% disagree with that. Obviously, we'll find out when this thing goes on sale next week. No, I actually think that they've removed MagSafe entirely. It just has a regular Qi charging coil and they call it a day. On its face, you could absolutely make the argument that the iPhone 16e for $600 is just an iPhone 16 that's $200 less.
That's why I think it's okay because
you think it's okay, but can we go through all the things it's missing compared to a 16? You've got a notch instead of a dynamic island with a lower quality front-facing camera. It has the same chip, slightly bend GPU, whatever. You have no MagSafe. You have 2 colors, white and black. It's such a weird device in that it is almost a regular phone, but what you lose for that $200 is just so many little nickel and dime things everywhere. Is it still a completely competent phone? Absolutely. But I can't say it's a great value. And on top of that, I think the big elephant in the room here is the modem. which you probably have never even thought about in your phone.
No, it's true.
Every iPhone for many years has shipped with a Qualcomm modem. It is the cutting edge. It is the best of the best. However, many years ago, Apple and Qualcomm got in a legal dispute, so Apple have created their own modem. They're trying to pitch it as like some big deal, and I think it's actually maybe a downgrade.
For years, I have heard you defend your folding Z Flips with inferior specs, and you're like, well, they gotta test out something. You know, you gotta give it a pass because they're testing this out. Apple is testing out a new modem.
Sure.
But they gotta test them out. They gotta get them going.
Sure.
This is a great way to test out that new technology. Knowing Apple, that means we're one step closer to getting a modem in like an iPad, the iPad like that.
I do agree with that, yeah.
We're one step closer to getting a modem in MacBooks like that. This is a great way to soft launch that technology.
Okay.
There are some benefits to the new modem. The reports are that they're more efficient with power because you don't have, the 6mm wave. So you are getting slightly better battery life on paper.
Yes. I don't believe that this modem is going to make any real difference at all. Qualcomm modems are not dumb. They're not like burning power all day long looking for millimeter wave. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think this is going to be an improvement.
This is kind of like the tester phone that you just defended for a whole bunch. The same things you're giving up on a Z Flip is what you're giving up on the SE compared to a 16.
The iPhone 16e, I don't think is a terrible phone, but I think it's uninspired. I think it's lazy. I think it really just means go buy a used phone. If you want an iPhone, go buy a used iPhone.
No. Once again, Austin Evans, you don't know. You only have one lens.
Like an iPhone 16e?
Correct. You don't know who this is for.
People who don't know what a phone is and go, oh, I want an iPhone. Give me that one.
Did you notice the one thing very specific on the iPhone page when you go to buy it?
Apple Intelligence, baby.
No, f that.
Okay, cool.
When you go to buy it, there's carrier deals, and there was AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Big Three.
You're naming carriers, they exist.
Boost Mobile. This here is going to be the subsidized.
You mean this is gonna be the free phone they give you when you sign up for a plan?
Everyone. Okay. For everyone. So it does not matter how much it costs because no one's gonna pay for it. It's gonna be your dad who stumbles with new technology, who's upgrading his phone, who's not gonna pay for it. It's gonna be your grandma who wants to FaceTime, but is not an aspiring photographer. Sure. She just needs a picture to take 12 of her grandkid of the same picture. You're not gonna have the tech enthusiasts going out and spending $600 on this.
Correct. Yes, I do agree. Most people will not go out and pay cash for this phone. I mean, yes, I do agree. A lot of carriers will do that. But that's not everywhere around the world, and not everyone is just going to get it handed to them for free. And also, by the same token, some of the carriers will give you like an iPhone 16 Pro for free. What happens now? Oh, they're going to make their deals worse because this exists? Here's the thing. This is a changing of the way that Apple are approaching their phone lineup. They've always relied on selling last year's phone. They knock $100 off, and they knock another $100 off, and they discontinue. That's the way they filled it, $600, $700, $800. But what we used to have was a $400 iPhone for many years, right? The original iPhone SE, it had the iPhone 5S chassis. It had a newer processor. It had a decent camera. It had a bunch of things. Even the second generation iPhone SE was actually pretty decent. The fact that we no longer have any new iPhone you can purchase for less than $600, I think that is objectively a bad thing.
I won't argue with you on that.
I'm happy that these phones have years of software support. I'm happy that it has the most up-to-date chip, which means it should be very much happily running for many years in the future. But the thing is, what we're losing here is the ability for you to go out and buy an affordable new iPhone. They're really just telling you, hey, do you want a $400 iPhone? Go buy a used iPhone 14. Imagine the conversation we'd be having if this phone was $500. Does this not feel like a $500 phone? Like, yeah, I get it.
And I would say instead of it being okay, it would be great. So I'm confused for different reasons.
I'm sure you are.
I want you to gaze lovingly in my eyes.
Nope, you talked bad things about my flips.
I'm confused as to why they're even bothering selling the 15 on the website.
Yeah, the 15's in a weird spot because it's more expensive.
It's $100 more expensive.
Yep.
You get the dynamic island and you get an ultra wide, and that's it.
Well, it has MagSafe and colors. Why does this not have colors? How do you not sell the cheap phone with colors?
I'm gonna be the corporate defendo for a second. This is a weird day for us.
I don't understand what's happening. This is like the upside down right now.
I guarantee they have all this data that said no one bought an SE, so let's just make it the free phone that carriers can do and get subsidized. They probably know every one of these people are going to put a case on it anyway. So
Yeah,
why spend the money
Sure.
on the manufacturing of it?
Why
if
make
they're-
the phone at all? Because clearly they don't give a shit about this thing in any way whatsoever. That same argument is, why didn't you do this?
Well, because I'm sure that these chips are just the ones that didn't pass quality control.
Yeah, no, it's
And
a binned AAT.
But like,
That's fine.
When Apple's sitting there talking about how they're carbon neutral, this is how they achieve it. Because they're recycling old chassis.
Well, it's a slightly different chassis. I actually don't think it's necessarily exactly the same.
I don't think it's 1-to-1, but like they're taking chips that otherwise would have had to be gotten rid of. They're just saying, look, you know what? Like, let's just put this in here.
I guess this should,
and it helps.
I know, but look, I just, nothing about this gives me a warm
This is a
fuzzy.
tax write-off for them. If a carrier is subsidizing the whole thing, that's just more money that Apple's making.
I just
without
think that's
any
a weird argument. You can't just say subsidy, and then nothing else matters, right? By that same token, should I get the iPhone 16e and Verizon can hand me a $400 cash on the spot? Like, they're just not going to do that. $600. If you're living deep in the Apple world, you can look at that and go, hey, it's pretty similar to a regular iPhone 16, Apple Intelligence, yada, yada, yada. But the argument I would make is that for $600, this feels like a cut, copy, paste, and a huge price markup. You could say, yeah, oh, well, they've got the high-end chip. Guess what? The iPhone SEs have always had the latest chip. Like, that's the way they make these things.
Well, they
used
had
to
the
sell for $400.
They had the latest chip, and then 2 years later,
It's, again, because they don't update it every year.
Right.
I do hope they update this thing every year. But I just think they're greedy for charging $600 for this thing.
partly why they
$500.
could have done it cheaper,
$500.
because they're selling it for a longer period of time. By having these yearly upgrade, inherently
Yes.
just gonna be more expensive.
You know what it is? Next year, when they bring out the iPhone 17e, they're gonna make this $500, and that's the price it should have been from the beginning. I get it's not $400, it's not $430. I get it's gonna be more expensive, but it is so much more expensive for what is, again, a recycled chassis, essentially.
I like
the older screens, like all these kind of bits and pieces. It's the same price as what they're charging for the iPhone 14 10 minutes ago. It has one less camera. It has less MagSafe. I like to be fair when fairness is deserved. I'm curious to spend some time with it. I'm curious to try it. Maybe there's some magical feature that
I
makes
don't
sense.
think you're
It
gonna
just
like
feels
it.
like greed. It just feels like greed.
This is why I don't understand you sometimes, because like a lot of the things you defend is just greed as well. The people who are gonna buy this don't care about any of the things.
And it's not an argument that you should take advantage of people who don't understand.
No. That is not my argument whatsoever. I'm just saying this is what was going through Apple's mind in my opinion.
Sure.
Most of the people who are going to buy this don't give a shit about any of the stuff you're saying.
Okay, they don't care about what makes a phone good. Got it.
They want, oh, my niece told me to get an iPhone because we could FaceTime.
Yep.
That's all, like that there is the extent of what they care about. If you're putting phones in front of them, they're going to say, just give me the cheapest one. The number doesn't matter.
But what they used to do was be able to walk into the store and get that for $430.
But they don't care.
Wait. You're trying to tell me that people go into the store, say, I want the cheapest one. How much is it? I don't care. I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
People don't track prices like you do.
But yesterday you could walk to the Apple store and buy a $430 phone. Now you buy a $600
Stop
one.
thinking of it like a tech YouTuber who knows every price ever. This is what I'm saying Apple's doing.
Okay.
Which is not me defending it. They know that these people don't care.
Okay.
So they're saying we can increase the price.
Yep.
By comparison.
Yep.
Here's the newest phone that's $200 cheaper than this other one.
Yes.
Someone who is not up to date on this is going to look at that and go, I'll go for the $200 cheaper one.
I do agree with that.
Which I agree with you that it sucks that this is way more expensive than it used to be. But this is also not a phone for you. It's not a phone for any of us in this room.
Maybe I just fundamentally disagree with the idea that a product should exist only for people who don't know anything better. I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but that's the world we live in.
If you want to go buy an affordable iPhone, the time is to buy a used one. I'm being 100% honest with you. And that is going to be very similar. You're still going to have several years of software updates. This phone, yes, in certain contexts could make sense. I'm sure it's not terrible. I'm sure it is okay adjacent.
Here's my issue
wrong.
with the
wrong.
used argument. It's not even a pricing. It's like, I don't know what you did with your phone.
Probably
I
bad
take my
things.
phone in the shower.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I'm not even doing weird stuff in there.
Well,
I don't know what
thanks
you're
for
doing with
clarifying
like,
that. I appreciate
so like
the
I don't know
clarification.
where that phone's been.
You're literally making my case for me right now. Because, yes, I agree. Having only a used phone is not the best option. But guess what? They just took away your other option. You can no longer get an affordably priced phone. Because clearly, this conversation is only for people who would never consider a $495 Pixel Fold.
This is for my parents. If you showed that to my parents,
They would be scared.
They
I
would,
get it.
They would string you up as a witch.
I'm not trying to make the argument that iPhone people need to cross-shop Android. Use whatever you want, baby birds. No one's judging you. I don't give a shit. But the problem is that as you are an iPhone user today, you have lost an option. You no longer have a reasonably priced phone that you've been able to purchase for many, many, many years. And they've replaced it with something which is a good value only with the warped perspective of your entire world is inside the Apple Store. It feels like if this phone was $500, I would have essentially no
I would
complaints.
tell everyone to buy this. I would tell you not to buy a 16.
But I think the reason they didn't do that is because they want to, first of all, protect the existing 16, because why would the hell would you ever buy a regular 16? And also, I just feel like they're pricing it to wherever they can. But it bothers me. It's
here's
like,
my solution to all of it. Get rid of the 16. Yep.
Out of here.
16 is gone.
Gone.
16E.
16E, base model. Okay.
It becomes the base model.
Got it.
16 Plus.
Okay.
With the bigger everything, and then Pros.
Okay.
Which
but
would
by that
stream-
token, how much are these phones?
I think everything goes down $50.
Okay, cool. I'm just looking at the iPhone 16 page right now. You can save up to $1,000 after trade-in on an iPhone 16. So you can make $200 by trading in a phone.
I'm glad you bring up the trade-in, because if we want to talk about the Apple greed, there's a link up there. Trade-in for, like, switch from Android. You can get up to $85 for your Android smartphone.
I can't wait to trade my S25 Ultra in, baby.
Look, I'm not trying to defend Apple on this.
You started real positive, and I feel like you're coming back down to my level right now.
I am playing devil's advocate, but I also I think that in practicality, this is going to affect almost no people.
So by that token, why shouldn't the 16E be $700? Because the price is irrelevant.
You're making my point here. Like,
that's a bad point.
Well,
I don't think that you can ever say price is irrelevant. As many subsidies and carrier deals and yada, yada, yada.
Well, because Apple's going to make more money on this because the carrier is paying for it.
You're paying for it with the contract that you could have signed with someone else. Or you're paying for it by maybe picking a different carrier that doesn't have contracts, but also costs you freaking $30 a month. You're
right.
Still paying for it.
You are right there.
There's no free money here, except the ones that Tim Cook is counting.
Money.
I understand your point. I only mostly disagree with it. What do you think about the iPhone 16e? Let us know in the comments below. I would love to read every single one, because I gotta say, all the rumors are like $500, $500. I'm like, cool, easy, no-brainer, this thing makes sense. And then suddenly, JK, $600. It just feels like it has completely recontextualized this thing in a way that makes me feel actually upset.
We didn't even talk about tariffs.
We're not gonna talk about those. That's a different video.